Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's winter weather update. So, we're going to be seeing two snowstorms moving across the northern plains through the Great Lakes and possibly through the Northeast over the next 5 days. And the first storm is already impacting the northern plains and upper Midwest, bringing some snow to Iowa, South Dakota, and Minnesota this morning. And as we go through the day, the snow is going to get heavier as it moves across Iowa into northern Missouri, northwestern Illinois. It's also going to become more widespread, and by the evening, we're going to be seeing widespread moderate to heavy snow across Wisconsin, northern Illinois, spreading into western Michigan, to southeastern Minnesota, the Twin Cities, and then going into the overnight. Heavy snow is going to spread across Wisconsin and Michigan, with Chicago getting some snow around 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then going into 1 a.m., snow is going to continue from Chicago through northern Indiana, through the northern half of Ohio, through areas like Detroit and Milwaukee. And then going through into the morning, the snow will start to push east of Chicago by 7 a.m. across Michigan into northern Ohio, western Pennsylvania. And then as we go in through the morning, we're going to be seeing snow through much of Pennsylvania, western New York State, continuing across Michigan and Ohio and even Indiana by noon Central Standard Time Friday. And then as we go into the afternoon, the snow will slowly push across Pennsylvania and New York State. And then we could get some snow in the New York City area by Friday midnight Central Standard Time, 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as the low pressure moves offshore, bringing some snow to the New England area. And then we could be seeing a little bit more snow across New York City, hanging around all night Friday through Saturday morning as this low pressure wants to slow down off the coast. And then this immediately brings us to our next Alberta Clipper system on Saturday. Saturday morning, more snow across North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota. Going into the evening on Saturday, more heavy snow across Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin. More snow for Chicago and Illinois and Indiana, including Indianapolis by Saturday morning, or Sunday morning rather. And then as we go into Sunday during the mid morning, snow is going to push across Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky perhaps. And then as we go into Sunday afternoon, the snow is going to push possibly into Virginia, into western Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and maybe even as far south as North Carolina, though it's still too far out to know for sure how far south the snow is going to get with the second system. And then looks like the snow is going to depart by Monday, although we're going to have to look at this as some of the models want to put a little bit of a nor'easter with the system next Monday and Tuesday. But this is still a little bit too far out. There's still too much model agreement for me to say with confidence that there's going to be any kind of nor'easter early next week. Now, looking at the snowfall accumulations across these areas over the next 5 days, we're going to be seeing some pretty hefty snowfall accumulations with these two storms across the northern plains, upper Midwest, Great Lakes. We're going to be seeing widespread snow accumulations between 6 inches and up to 18 inches across North Dakota, across Minnesota, anywhere between 6 inches and a foot. Same with Wisconsin, 6 inches and a foot of snow. Isolated totals up to 15 inches. Iowa could be seeing between 4 inches and 10 inches of snow with these two snowstorms. The northern half of Illinois between 4 and 10 inches, with about 5 inches possible in Chicago. Michigan, about 4 to 7 inches, possibly up to 5 inches in Detroit. Ohio, about 4 to 8 inches. Indiana, about 2 to 8 inches. And then across the Northeast, Pennsylvania, from southwest Pennsylvania through central and northern Pennsylvania, anywhere from about 4 inches to 10 to even 11 inches or a foot around the lakes are possible. Same with New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, Western Massachusetts, and Connecticut, with New York City being right on the edge once again of the snow. Now, looking at the European model for a cross-examination check. The European model is bringing similar snow totals across the Dakotas, Minnesota, uh, across Wisconsin, a little less across Iowa of about 2 to 6 inches, about 4 inches to Chicago, and then about 4 to 5 inches in Detroit. But the European model is bringing a lot more snow to the Northeast, about as much as 2 feet in areas like New York State and Northeast Pennsylvania, and widespread 1 to 2 feet. So the European model verifies we could be seeing a big snowstorm across interior areas of the Northeast again, with maybe as much as 6 inches in New York City if the European model verifies. Looking at the North American model, or actually we're going to look at the Canadian because the North American model does not go 5 days out. The Canadian model is showing similar totals to the GFS and Euro across North Dakota, North and South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, more in Chicago of about 9 inches of snow, Michigan of about 5 to 8 inches, and then similar totals of about 4 to 8 inches across the Northeast as the GFS model. And then we're going to be finally looking at the North American model for areas like the Midwest and the Great Lakes. And the North American model is showing similar totals to the other 3 models across North Dakota, North and East South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, a little less across Chicago, about 3 inches, Detroit about 4 inches. So we're going to be seeing some pretty decent snow across North Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, and much of the Great Lakes over the next 5 days. The Northeast is still in question, though, so I'm going to continue to update you guys on the snow situation across the Northeast. And make sure you, for you snow lovers out there, enjoy the snow across the Northern Plains and the Great Lakes. Stay safe and have a wonderful day, my friends.